Welcome to Conty Chat. My name is Diana Hashim, your host for today. Now, today we are going to have a very interesting conversation with our guests. We're talking about caring for the elderly. Who is responsible? Now, don't go anywhere because we'll be right back with that very intensive conversation. And of course, please be sure to follow us on our social media accounts. Follow us on Conty News on Facebook and on YouTube. Otherwise, you could follow us on Instagram and TikTok on Conty Chat. We're also on Spotify, so if you want to catch any of our previous conversations, definitely go there.
Hello, everybody. My name is Chris Ponsalan.
So for today's conversation, when it comes to caring for the elderly and when we want to talk about responsibilities of that, now let me just say, I'm going to put this out as a disclaimer. I think it is a very standard Malaysian or Asian thing to think about when it comes to sending your parents or the elderly to an old folks home or a nursing home. It can be considered quite taboo, but this is a conversation that needs to be had because in another 7 years Malaysia will become an aging population. Now 15% of the population in Malaysia are going to be 60 years and above, so you start to wonder what's going to happen to them when it comes to being taken care of once they have passed their time of retirement. Are they going to stay at home with their children? Are they going to live on their own, or will they be sent to nursing homes or caring homes or whatever it is that could give them that sense of support? And today I am having this discussion with Amar Fatullah Nur Muhammad Daim, the co-owner of an elderly daycare center as well as a volunteer caretaker, and we're discussing this. Thank you so much, Amar, for joining me today. How are you?
I'm fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool, great, fantastic. So with your expertise and what you have experienced, I think it's really good for people to know and maybe try to understand a little bit more what the difference is between adult care centers and nursing homes. Can you tell us the difference?
Okay, so adult centers, they provide a safe and protective environment for the patient there. So the care, a level of care is not as intense as a nursing home. So nursing home is mostly with people who needs medical care or wound care.
And it's not even palliative care.
Yeah.
Palliative care is completely different.
Yep.
Altogether. But in terms of, like, you know, as a co-owner of an elderly daycare center, what is your opinion towards nursing homes in Malaysia?
I think it's actually good because it's like an alternative for people who don't have the time to take care of their parents. So like for example, this one patient is from Indonesia. His son is working in Bangladesh, and he has glaucoma, which is a blindness. So he cannot take care of himself. So his son sent him to our place to take care of him, and he's happy. He's been there for 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
4 years is a very long time. Does his son get to visit every now and then?
Yeah. Whenever his son is back in Malaysia, he will always come in to visit. Yeah.
And it must be quite an experience to let alone take care of one elderly. And how many do you have? How many people do you have in there?
We have 28.
Wow. Okay. Do you feel, Amar, that nursing or retirement homes gives a valuable life for retirees for elderlies?
Yes, they actually do, because like our place, we actually do a lot of fun stuff. So sometimes after lunch we usually play some music for them to listen to, or maybe coloring, or depends on what they actually want to do. So basically they can socialize with their friends.
Right.
Yeah.
And everyone interacts over there.
Everyone interacts with each other.
Yeah.
And I think it's a fun experience, especially, I mean, I would rather hang out and make new friends than sit alone in my house, you know?
Yeah, that's true. I suppose it kind of gives an opportunity to socialize a little bit more, right?
Yep.
But what are the criteria for anyone to enter in a place like this? Because normally the standard aspect is going to be, people will wonder the costing, perhaps even like by location, or is there a specific kind of condition that they have to be in?
Well, it varies. Obviously, it depends on where you want to send them. But the basic things that you need to do is maybe find out that if that place have a basic assistant, which is like can they feed parents or bathe them, and of course medical assistance, because they need to be helped with sometimes with their medicine and of a bed or something. It depends on what you want, but I would say the most basic stuff is all the feeding, the bed, the medical assistance, like that.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting that like we're having this conversation now. Like as an Asian child, this is just a standard taboo thing when people are gonna be like, "What? You sent your parents to an old folks home, to a nursing home? How could you? You know, that sort of feeling." But some children who send their parents to a nursing home for whatever reason it may be, do you believe that it is the best decision to do?
Yes, it actually is, because patients actually needs to be helped, because some of them maybe have health issues that needs to be like checked every hour, like those extremes health conditions. So in all folks home we actually check every 2 hours, every 4 hours, depends on what they have.
Right.
So I think people need to change their mindset like that lah. Like it's actually not a bad thing.
Right.
Because some like I said before, some people actually don't have the time. So
yeah,
that's why
or
they send it.
or the capacity to be able to do it, because I've seen you know, my family members who are caring for our elders, and it is a very, very huge commitment. Now, Amar, I wanted to ask, like, your experience, for example, because you yourself are a volunteer caretaker. You're not just a co-owner. And off air, we were talking about how long essentially you've been doing this. I'm just gonna ask, but this is a disclaimer. How old are you now?
I'm 19.
Yeah, 19 years old,
Yeah.
and you have started doing this since.
I was 18.
Yeah, it was just after SPM.
Yep.
Could you talk us through your experience? Like, how did you get into it? How do you feel about it?
Okay. So first of all, what I feel about it, well, it's not my passion at all.
Yeah.
Because I like animals. I ride horses, and I have a lot of cats. So I don't really. This is not really my passion. But after working there for quite a while, it's actually a fun thing to do, because you can actually see those old people, old folks home. They're happy there sometimes, and well, my experience, a lot happened actually.
Yeah.
We have some patient who get aggressive sometimes with mental problem. We got a patient who is mentally ill, but the fun kind. So they like to dance around, you know, those stuff. Yeah, it's good, and you actually learn a lot. Like I learn a lot, especially about medical stuff, like how to treat a wound. So it taught me a lot working there.
Wow, I can't imagine what it must be like, because again, you know, the whole concept of sending one of your elders into a nursing home is one thing, but taking care of an elder who happens to go through either dementia or Alzheimer's, these things are very, very, like, it's quite a challenge to maneuver, especially if you don't have the right kind of support, let alone the right kind of knowledge. But how big is your team in the nursing home?
Well, we have 3 types. We have nurses who take care of the medication. We have staff nurses who help the nurses, and general workers. So general workers help with bathing and giving them food, something like that. So it's quite big, depends on the shift. Usually morning shift is a lot, but night shift we only have like maybe 4 people.
Okay,
Yeah,
so it's a little bit more manageable in
Yeah.
that aspect. Okay, well, you know what, we're gonna take a really short break, but when we come back, we're gonna continue on with finding out more about whether there are homes that are especially designed for elderlies who are still healthy and able to retire happily. We'll come back in a bit. Don't go anywhere.
Pengiktirafan oleh UNESCO adalah amat penting bagi Langkawi kerana dia melonjakkan sektor pelancongan dengan pemberian ilmu tourism kepada pelancong-pelancong.
Dia patuk tu, dia punya taring tu, dia suntik ataupun diinjek dalam tangan people come here and they bring food, they bring drinks, and they leave the trash when they go home. I feel and I feel sad that we are treating the world that is so beautiful like this, and that people just don't care.
Welcome back to Conty Chat. Okay, so I'm still speaking to Amar Fatullah, and we are discussing about caring for the elderly, who is actually responsible, and his experience as a co-owner of an elderly care center as well as a volunteer caretaker. We're going to try to understand a little bit more of his experiences on how he actually got into it in the first place. Now, Amar, you said that, okay, you are a co-owner. Let's talk about your partner.
Okay.
Yes.
So, well, my partner is my mom.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, my
okay, hi, Auntie. Nice.
Well, my mom has been doing this for like 5 years,
Okay.
6 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a great grandfather when I was, I think he died. Last time I saw him when I was 14 or something. And I think my mom got inspiration to do this old folks home is because of him. I don't know the details, but I think that's why. And I think I become the co-owner is because I think I'm her oldest son.
Yeah.
And I helped her before. I know a lot of stuff about that place. I worked there. And yeah, I think
But it's so interesting how to have a parent who decides to go into nursing home, like elderly daycare, and then introducing it to a person, their child who's like, you know, fresh out of SPM at that point of time, right?
Yep.
How did you take it? Were you okay? Were you like a bit overwhelmed, or?
Yes, you can say that because it actually it's a lot to handle, especially a business, you know. And I work there from below, so I become a staff nurse first, and I work there as a staff nurse, so I take care of them, I shower them, change their diapers. So I hated it, but it grew on me, you know.
Yeah.
After doing that for a while, I kind of enjoy it.
It's actually a very rewarding thing, but in a way that a lot of people don't really expect or understand, because it is mentally and physically taxing to actually do that, let alone caring for one elderly in a household. Maybe there's two, but this is a home of 28 people, like what you had mentioned earlier on. So talk us through the space that you have. Like, can you describe to us what does the building look like, and what kind of facilities are there?
So our place in Putrajaya.
Okay.
It's a very unusual place to do an old folks home. It's very so our place is a bungalow, so we have two of them. One bungalow can fit maybe 30 patients.
Wow.
And we have two of them. So it's not full yet, but I can imagine that people will like send their parents more. Yeah, that's all.
But you do get visitors, people
Yeah.
do come in to visit and whatnot.
Yeah. Like some patients actually have their wife or children come every week.
I see.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, it's understandable then, I suppose. But this is a moment where people would probably start to wonder, like, if there are any homes that's specially designed for elderlies who are, you know, basically still healthy and are able to retire happily. Are there? Is there?
Yeah, let's call it an adult care home.
Yeah, it's an adult care home.
Because there they help you with the basic stuff, so food. So you pay and they give you food, bed, something like that.
Yeah.
So it's like a hotel.
It's like, yeah, it's kind of like a hotel center for the
Yeah.
elderly specifically, which is quite fascinating. Do you ever partner up or collaborate with any of these adult homes?
Personally, no. No, but my mom did know some people who also have a nursing home in Shah Alam, I think. Yeah, that's all.
All right, so it's just a matter of discussing, like, you know, how things work. And I mean, I'm sure there's like a standard operating procedure that must be followed as well, because there is always that concern where if you send your mom or your dad who is an elderly to a home, that you want to make sure that everyone is well taken care of. But if in that sense, I would ask you this question: would you would you yourself opt to stay in a nursing home when you retire?
Me?
Yes.
Well, yeah, depends, to be honest. If I have my own family, then maybe not. But if I'm alone, then
Yeah.
why not? Because I think I can make new friends
Yeah.
in a nursing home. But yeah, it depends on the situation. But if I have no choice, maybe maybe I'm mentally unstable later,
Right.
maybe I'll go. You know?
Yeah.
We'll never know when we're old, you know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We could only hope for the best at this point of time. And I don't know. I mean, I think it is a very unique situation. And that's why this conversation is actually very, very interesting to try to tread around. Because at the end of the day, while a person might fully disagree with actually having someone, you know, like send their parents to an old folks home or a nursing home, other people need to understand those circumstances and why it is done in the first place and what actually could be done or cannot be done. Could you share with us how you build a loving relationship with your elderly parents, and living apart is maintaining a healthy relationship? Would it be a healthy relationship for both parties?
Again, depends on the situation. If let's say, if the parents is mentally unstable, then I don't think it's good. But you know, you can, some children actually still care for them even though they're mentally unstable.
Right.
But like I said, it depends. Yeah, depends.
Okay, yeah, it's very difficult to say, I suppose. But then, if we were to sort of like look at it now, you're 19 years old, you're in university, and are you gonna dive back into volunteering from time to time?
Yes, I would.
Would you encourage others to actually try volunteering or even getting into nursing in terms of nursing elderlies?
Yes, because it's a life experience, you know. Maybe you can use that experience to help your parents one day, you know. So I think it's a good thing. You will learn a lot, just like me. I learn a lot.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like, do you have siblings?
Yeah, I do. There's a sister.
A younger sister.
Yeah, younger
Does she
sister.
volunteer at all?
Not yet, because she's 17 this
Okay,
year. Yeah.
right. Yeah, obviously. So what kind of training do you have to go through, actually?
Well, the nurses will teach you like how to carry a patient, how to wash them, to give medication, but you don't actually need a special certificate or something. You can just work there like a staff nurse. That's what you call a staff nurse. It's an uncertified nurse. But if you're a nurse, then you're a nurse.
Yeah, that's really, really interesting, and you're absolutely right. Having that sort of experience will actually benefit you in ways that you never really realized. And coming from personal experience of what I've seen as well, over time there's so much adjustments and knowledge and like patience that you have to have, and I'm sure you've had to deal with a lot of moments where you feel very overwhelmed with what is around you. I think, did you ever get any care for that? Like, as in, did you get help for that to sort of like unload like your emotions, so to speak? Not like it's a bad thing to say, but in all honesty, it is very, very taxing. Yeah.
Well, I do sometimes get overwhelmed because some patients have like dementia, and sometimes they can get very aggressive. Well, you need to have a very strong mental to work there. And usually, because I ride horses, so basically all the stress and everything, I just unleash it with my horse. But yeah, like I said, you need to be mentally prepared to work there. Because some patients can, like, they curse at you, they sometimes they want to punch you. Yeah, so I need to have very high patience.
It's a really heavy experience, and it's not one of those things where, again, it's like people who own nursing homes don't get a kick out of it. This is not like just for the sake of, you know, making money. There's a lot of like thought and, you know, emotional like energy to be given to their patients and whoever that's staying there for that matter. I'm glad that you have an outlet. And horses, from what I heard, are very calming creatures, so that's really good. But then, if we were to say this now, having this conversation at this moment, if you could spread awareness on nursing homes as a favorable option to, you know, retire or send the elders to if needed, how would you do it?
Well, I would just tell them the benefits, because again, a lot of people think that if you send your mom in a nursing home, it's oh, you're cruel. You just don't want to have the responsibility. But it's not really about that. Sometimes it's safer to put your parents in a nursing home than you taking care of them, because we're very strict and we're very detailed in what we do. So all the medication needs to be given at the exact time, and our facility are quite safe for them. And well, yeah, it's all about, they need to know why it's good.
Yeah.
Like
And
that.
I think what a lot of people don't really see perhaps is, I mean, like, so basically I'm a new parent, and you know, I work and I have to leave my child to be taken care of by
Yes.
someone else. I'm not saying that it could be similar, but perhaps in that perspective, it's like there are moments of time where you have to delegate, and if this is an option for you to delegate, you know, this situation to take care of your parents, if this were to happen to you, then it could be a potential option. And obviously at the end of the day, it's about budgeting as well, because it does not come cheap, does it?
Doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even when it comes to having a carer to come at home to stay in the house with you, it's another thing, it's another aspect altogether. But then I suppose, what do you hope to see in the future for your nursing home?
Well, I would definitely hope to have more patients come in, and to be successful place. And I probably think that it's good for people to have a positive mindset about nursing home. You know, because a lot of people again think it's a bad place for parents,
Right.
but it's actually not. Yeah, that's
Do you happen to have knowledge on how many nursing homes there are in Malaysia, or at least in the Klang Valley, or in Selangor?
in Putrajaya there's one, which is our place.
Right.
In Selangor, I know the one place, but I don't know if there are more, because some nursing homes offers only for Muslims,
Okay.
some offers for everyone,
Right.
some for Chinese, Indians.
So they're quite targeted.
yeah,
then,
they're
I
quite
see.
targeted.
Uh-huh.
So there's quite a lot actually, but it's not well known.
Right. So I suppose, I suppose in that sense, if we wanted to like market it, people will be like, oh, you're marketing to send your parents to an old folks home, how dare you, so on and so forth. But always remember the circumstances that we need to try to empathize a little bit more, to try to understand. But I'm glad that there are establishments like your elderly daycare centers that's very, very focused in wanting to make sure that, you know, the elders that are sent over there are well taken care of, and that they are strict with the medication, and that you've got a pretty good staffing system, I suppose, with a lot of people. And I'm sure it must have been a really, really interesting experience for you, that in the long run, in years to come,
Yep.
like, wow.
You want to know what will happen in the future.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, can you imagine when you have children, you're just gonna be like, so here's the situation, and this is what I learned. But yeah, anyways, thank you so much though, Amar, for joining me today. Like, I really appreciate you sharing from your perspective and your experience as well, because I know for a fact that it's not gonna be easy in general to, you know, to volunteer, to be a caretaker, and to experience it at like a tender age of after SPM. You never imagine doing that in your entire life.
Yep.
But kudos to you, and I hope you do very well. And like, hi to your mom as well. Tell her, like, I give her like a big high five, like, well done. But anyways, in regards to the conversation that we just had about caring for the elderly, who is responsible, at the end of the day, I'm just gonna put this as a disclaimer: whatever we go through in our personal experiences, we have to figure out what is good for us and what we are actually capable of doing, our capacity for it. And there's no sense of judgment right here on Conty Chat. And we hope that you know, at least have an idea of what kind of options that you have should this ever happen to you in the future. But anyways, that's it from us for this week, and I hope you enjoyed the show. But if you'd like to catch any of our shows, you can check it out on Spotify. We're also on Conty News on Facebook and YouTube, as well as our Instagram and TikTok. We're on Conty Chat. So have a fabulous day ahead. My name is Diana Hashim. See ya.